told me once, and it stuck with me. He said, you could be the worst photographer in the world, and then 30 seconds later, take the best photo you ever take in your life. And like, that's the beauty of it. Like, you just have to keep going, and you never know when magic is gonna come out of it.
Traditional. Let's sync it up. Let's sync it up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Man, I'm so happy about this, man. We made it.
So why you got 2 plants, though? That's just.
Well, I got 2 plants behind me. I don't know. I think it look cool. Y'all think it look cool?
No, it does.
I think it look cool. Man, I'm so excited,
though.
man. I'm so excited. All right, how are we even gonna start this one off, baby?
I kind of like this just raw intro that we just had right there.
I like it. You like it? I like it. You like it? I like it. So, everybody, welcome to the Plugged In podcast, Substance Plus Style. Plugged in the Substance Plus Style. Let me get it right. Plugged in the Substance Plus Style, episode 2. We're so happy to have y'all back. Appreciate everybody that watched the first one. Listen to it on the podcast platform, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the ones that was out there. Appreciate y'all for listening to that, watching it. We much love, much more to come. But today is a special day in my life. I get to meet the guy that's sitting beside me. And his name is Austin O'Connor, right?
Yeah.
I got it right. I did my homework. Did his homework. And
you did better than I did. I've slayed that probably about 3-4 times. He's like, hey, Ansel, it's
There at the beginning when we first met. I got a couple Connors, Justin a couple times years ago. That's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, I win. I can stop for the day. I'm good. I'm good. But so glad to finally meet you. I've seen so much of your work. Give a little bit of your backstory from what I know from the area, Bluefield area.
Yeah, born and raised, Bluefield, West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you went
Southern West Virginia, boy.
Southern West Virginia.
Yeah.
Hey, so we told y'all we keeping it home. We keeping it home with it.
Right.
So
before we go further, without further ado,
as y'all know, Ansel like to be messy and give gifts.
Yep.
Ooh.
So the first Substance Plus Style, plugged in the Substance Plus Style, T. Special, Austin.
Special edition.
Oh my God.
Special edition.
Hey,
Let's
man,
go.
I appreciate it.
Railroad
Absolutely.
cap.
I
I blessed him
appreciate
with some 3 Up to a merch.
Yes.
Railroad cap.
I appreciated that, and that means a little more.
5 panel. I know you're a 5 panel guy.
Yeah,
too.
and our history with the whole railroad thing, with what we've done. So I appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
Thank you.
It go with the hoodie.
It does, yeah. I wear that all the time too.
Yeah.
I get the bracket. Yeah, it's my photo on there.
I remember.
Absolutely, man. So bring us in. Tell us about what you're doing right now and how you got there, man. Like,
yeah, well, that's it. It's a long story. So long story short, right now I am the photographic services manager, essentially the university photographer at Marshall University, which is my alma mater. Yeah. It's been a weird kind of long ride. I mean, I've taken a lot of weird paths. I started out photography was just like a hobby. I got my first camera in like 2015. My dad was a professional photographer, so I was like, yeah, I'll do this. This is fun. Yeah. Cool. Did that as a hobby for a bit. Graduated with an English degree. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. That was about the time. Just thereafter that was when we kind of met.
2016, right?
Yeah. I started working in banking, of all things. English degree, banking. Yeah,
wow, the
so
opposite of
exactly.
Where
and I'm terrible at math, so I can't believe anybody trusted me to do that. Worked in banking for 2 years, did photography kind of on the side as just a little side hustle, hobby. I was terrible. Yeah. I was so bad. But this man believed in me, which meant a lot. I had like my moments where I'd be like, that's a good photo, but other times it was terrible. Man. So I did that on the side, worked in banking. Finally,
we got that in common then.
Yeah, well, okay.
I always like,
I still to this day think that about my stuff though. So that's the thing. But did the banking thing, learned a lot there. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, even though it wasn't photography, I think I learned a lot of life lessons that ultimately helped me in photography and what I'm doing now. Yeah. So I did that, broke into kind of into the industry, worked for West Virginia Tourism for 2 years as like a content multimedia specialist. And just kept practicing. And
is that when they started the series, Almost Heaven? Is that like?
They started that like right before. It was like 2 months I think before I came on.
Okay.
And we claiming it. He claiming it, Rod. He gonna claim it.
Yeah, we claiming that. That's yours.
And then
You worked through it. You worked through it.
yeah, it's a fun campaign. I think that it was big for them and for the state to kind of embrace that and make that our
Absolutely.
own. Did that for 2 years, and then this, never expected to be back at Marshall, and this job opened up, and I was, somehow by the grace of God, got this job at, my alma mater, doing what I love every single day, just taking photos.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at now. Just somehow, like, it doesn't seem real that, that turned into a career, but that's kind of where life is now.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's
man.
What's up.
So you literally went from one end of the spectrum, banking, just mundane task every day, do the same thing really, to content creator for what? West Virginia Tourism. And then Marshall. And that's like,
Marshall.
That's different every day, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, man. It keeps you on your toes, like every week, something new. It's a lot of fun. I get to meet, all sorts of cool people that are doing some just amazing things. I know I'm a little biased since like it's my alma mater and I worked it out, but like there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. So it's a cool environment. It's very uplifting.
You're in soccer school now?
Soccer school, Marshall, won the national championship. So there's a lot of good stuff going on up there, and
I was a little envious. I remember when Ansel told me that you were doing the photography for some of this stuff right here, and I was kind of like, because y'all knocked out Clemson first round.
We did.
Take out Carolina to get there. And Carolina's my favorite school, so I was kind of like, I hope they win, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh.
You wouldn't be mad if
I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have been mad.
I get that.
But as me, if my favorite team lose, the team that beat my favorite team got to win it all.
Right.
So
it's a good mindset to have, and that was crazy. Kind of thinking about like coming from banking and doing this, that, and the other, and not having a career in photography at the time, to then standing on the sideline of an NCAA national championship game.
Yeah.
It was
taking shots.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I had a moment, right after Jamil Roberts hit that game-winning goal, and you're on the field and like getting shots, and it just like hit me. I was like, man, how am I here?
Right.
And that's kind of been something I've been thinking about a lot since the game. It's like just kind of thinking back on what I've been through, and kind of like these humble beginnings of not knowing what in the world I'm doing, but having people like Ansel and other friends in my family that, even though in my opinion at that point in time my photos were garbage, like they believed in me. They were like, no, like you're gonna do, like you're getting better. They having that support and having people like Ansel that believe in you, it goes a long way.
But that's like Rod though. Like I feel like Rod, oh man, I don't think I'm like, dude, that video was nuts. That was tough.
You're incredibly
high
talented.
level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't know.
appreciate
That
it.
may be just the nature of just content creation. Because Rod does it all the time. Like this podcast, he's gonna look at this 20 times, and I'm like, Rod, that's good.
Yeah.
And he's like, but the sound, the audio. I'm like, dude, it's a B plus. But no, I think that just speaks to just y'all's competitive nature, and just how good y'all are as content creators. So I don't think people tell each other that enough. But no, I do a good job.
I think that's the thing, and I'm sure you can relate, is like I'm definitely my own toughest critic.
Yeah.
And there sometimes I'm like, man, I gotta stop being like this. But what Ansel just said, sometimes I'm like, that I think that's what helps me.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly trying to make myself not think that way, knowing that I very rarely have a moment where I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
But I strive to get to that, and I think that's what kind of keeps me going. Yeah. And I'm sure that it sounds like you're the same way.
I've even had moments where I think a LUT looks great on my footage, and my footage is still bad.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, this looks fire. But that's a bad shot.
I have that thought all the time. Any color grading I do, I'm like, man, if the shot was a little bit better, I think I would like this. I would have liked it.
All the time. So one of the things that, like, for me, I truly wanted to ask, from a self-righteous moment, why don't institutions, especially athletic institutions, post their videographer, photographers Like that's one of the biggest things for me. I look at all the bigger brands. I look at all these D1 programs that have like fantastic stuff. But you never know who does it unless you stalk the page and see if someone shares it. Usually the creator will share it, but you got to be there for that moment.
That's the thing. I think that's a big debate right now too. Like you see on Twitter more often, thankfully people will respond. You'll see in a lot of photos like, oh, who took the photo?
Yeah.
Who did this? Who did that? And I think there's a little bit of ground being made in that. Like some people are starting to include the photographers more. Even where I work, I get a lot of times I will get credit, and it's a very gratifying feeling when you see something go out and you're attached to it. Like you get to see that. A lot of times, I mean, I could see the argument that, oh, you are getting paid by this place to provide this, so technically
own the rights to it.
And I get that, and I think that especially with like NFL, NBA, like these big name, brands and teams and things like that. I think it would be so beneficial if they would kind of start doing that though, because a lot of those guys, I mean, it's just like there are so many talented like men and women in that field that like you said, you really wouldn't know who they are unless you
stalk it.
Yeah.
Like I literally I was such a fan of Clemson's football page that I just literally like looked daily just to see if somebody would retweet it, and that Clemson's athletic page or football page would retweet or reshare their share.
Yeah.
So
I finally
sorry
got
to cut
one.
you off. Go ahead.
No, you
go
good.
ahead.
What's up?
So with that, because I know you do a good job of surveying just a lot of athletics pages, and the technology they're using, who's behind the camera. Like, how do you go about finding those people?
For me, I just literally just would go to their page. I'm liking the post. I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at their IG story, and just seeing who shares it, who reshares it, all that type of stuff right there. And usually the creator will eventually either reshare it or someone will reshare it and tag the creator.
Yeah.
And once you get that, you just on a loop of just finding who the creators are, because the creators they will always tag each other.
They all know each other. It's a small world.
So once I didn't even notice, but like once I found one Clemson videographer,
found them all.
I found 6.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I thought it was just football. Like these guys and girls, they are shooting football, basketball, baseball, softball, and it's all great content, every last bit of it. But if you go to those actual pages, it's not like that page is posted. And the crazy thing is, it might even be that person that's the one sharing the photo.
Yeah.
It might even be that person that took the photo or video that's actually sharing it.
Yeah.
But they don't even tag themselves. And that's the reason why I wanted to ask, because I was looking at Marshall's stuff, and I'm like, man, this stuff is fire. And then all of a sudden I figure out that you're doing it, and I'm like, it's even more fire. But I need somebody to stand up and say, hey, that's my guy right there.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's definitely, and especially with the national championship, it was me for more the university side. There's another guy, Tyler, that works in the athletic side that was shooting. Another guy, Casey. There's Alex. Like these different people that were there, and so many talented people. And I think thankfully, like where we work, they really do appreciate us, and they show that to us. So we definitely get our recognition, which is great. But I agree with you, man. With a lot of these places, it is you, like you said, you find these creators, and then it's such a small world. Every creator knows each other, and you can find out who's with like every team and every organization within a day. Really, like you could link all 32 NFL teams if you wanted to. Like you could find that out pretty quickly with who's shooting it. But I think definitely, like I said, we're making some progress with them showing stuff. So I don't know. But
so speaking of NFL, I know you've been on the Panthers sideline. You shot some different things a few times for them. What's more electrifying, shooting for the Panthers or shooting in the national championship for Marshall?
So I got to shoot in the Superdome, which was obviously insane.
Okay.
And that was a really electric game, but I really the national championship game was like, there's nothing like, you know what I mean? Like, these are the 2 best teams in the country.
Right. And
it's all, it's do or die. Like you have to win, or it's all for nothing.
It's something different about that NCAA.
Yeah.
Any kind of collegiate championship sport, it's something different. Like I got the chance to sit in when my brother and them went to the NCAA tournament, and they played Duke. And I tell you, like, I've been to one NFL game before, the Lions, when I was going to school up in Michigan. And when I was at that tournament game, when they, of course, it helps to play Duke.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, I could feel it. Like it was something different, man.
Yeah.
It was really electric.
And being in the tournament, I mean, like even shooting that UNC game, like it was just after the game. I mean, my adrenaline was just going. Yeah. Like, and I mean, the Panthers stuff. Anytime I like with shooting those games, it's insane, and your adrenaline's going. But something about the national championship, like just I mean, I honestly kind of like blacked out for a little bit, especially at the end when he scored. Like I don't remember some of it. Like I know I was shooting photos, but your adrenaline just gets going so much.
I was watching it, and when he scored, it was like everybody paused for a second, and then he just went nuts and was like, "Oh, we just won."
Yeah, it didn't hit me.
He just took off. He just took off.
Yeah, if you go back and watch, and you look real closely on like the second angle they show after everything happened, when they go back and show the replay, you could see me in green with like a backwards hat on, and my arms just go up in the air, and I jumped. And I don't remember doing that. I pulled it back. I got the shot of Jamil running to celebrate, but I jumped, and then I kind of remember just being like, okay, we're up now. Yeah. Like I had totally forgotten that it was overtime, golden goal. Right. Like in my mind, I was like, okay, like we can breathe a little bit. And then I see the fans running down, and I was like, oh, we won. And so I go running out on the field too, and it's just definitely, that was one of absolutely the craziest experiences, but that moment in itself was one of the craziest moments of my life. Wow. And that's, like I said, to know where I came from with banking and just not sure where I wanted to be, and then a few years later being able to do this
that's lovely.
Is insane.
So I'm a techie.
Yeah.
At heart. So what was you shooting with?
I had a Sony A7 III was my main body. Okay. And a Sony A6500 kind of as my backup with a little 24 millimeter lens just for kind of close up stuff.
Okay. What was the lens on the A7 III?
I had a 70-200. I was gonna bring a bigger lens.
Shooting soccer with 70.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now I'm impressed.
Yeah. So see, I was like, I'll bring something a little larger, but I'm kind of weird that I hate carrying a monopod around. Yeah. And I knew if I got a larger lens that I was just gonna be lugging that thing all the way down the field. So I kind of went minimal, because especially after the first game, I kind of realized what I was working with, because I hadn't shot a lot of soccer. Yeah. And I made it work ultimately. And then after the game with the celebration, I just popped on my 20, I think I have a 27-74. Yeah. And I just used that for everything else. Because the really good stuff, I was kind of banking on a win, because that's when you get the good stuff as a celebration. Yeah. But yeah, 70-200, which I've gotten some looks when I've told people that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking 100-400,
yeah,
200,
like a football lens, something like that.
I'm thinking that because it's like soccer's such a long.
It is,
and it's not like you out there running with them.
Right.
So I'm like 72. I'm impressed, and I'm also happy because in the fall when we play soccer and I'm out there trying to do my thing, I know I can go out there with my 72.
Yeah, man.
I feel confidence now.
It's honestly, and I actually at times I put it on my little Sony, the A65, where it's prop, got a little bit more reach with it. Yeah. And that's the thing about photography, I think that's so cool, is you just kind of make it your own. Absolutely. You find what you like and what direction you want to go with it, and there's really not one specific right way to do something. Yeah. And that's kind of the beauty of it, I think. And that's what I love about it.
Love it.
Shout out to Rob for that punch in.
Punch it, yeah.
Punch in, man. Punch
in. He taught me that feature for sure.
Man. Punch in. That's the reason why I still use my 6400. That's the reason why I continue to use the A7 III as much as I do, is because it has that feature to go into that crop mode. And
I shot NFL games with my 6500.
So here's the thing that I like about what you did with the Panthers. So I don't know if you know a guy named Ty Rogers. Yeah. He shot at Duke. He was at Indiana, played baseball in Indiana. He shot for Cam Newton for a while. So
I know about
actually,
him.
I actually took his master classes.
Okay.
Shout out to Utah. You probably not gonna watch this, but shout out to Utah. That's how I learned how to do video editing for the most part for sports. And when I saw that you were doing the stuff with that, I was just like, man, they was probably in at the same time.
Man, what's funny is one of my best friends, Connor Harrison, actually he was a videographer for the Panthers, and so he worked and he actually works for Cam Newton now.
Yeah.
And so he knows Ty really well. So I've always heard that. I don't know if I might have met him once, I think, at a game, in passing. But yeah, it's a small world. Yeah, it's a very small world.
He's
really talented.
As a Carolina fan, I was out here seeing Duke and their social media platform blow up that year that he was shooting content, and I didn't know that was the first time he'd ever picked up a camera. Yeah. He was the graphic designer. And he had never picked up a camera, and they were like, hey, we're going to move more towards video. And I remember the Countdown to Craziness video he did with Luke Kennard and Harry Giles and all them guys, and I was sitting there like, man, this video fire. I still have the tweet. I actually DM'd him on Twitter because somebody tagged a tag, so it was a tag situation. And I DM'd him. I was like, yo, that was fire. And he said, I learned on YouTube. And I was just like,
YouTube is the best tool out there.
Then that's when YouTube became my best friend, and I was just like, but yeah, man, it's so much, man, so much stuff that people don't understand that YouTube, and it actually kind of is crazy. For working for an institution, I think about the kids coming up, even my daughter, is just like, what will life be like when they get to the institutional part? Because YouTube is so big and people can learn so much, have access to so many things. So. Yeah,
I agree.
For sure. So let's talk about going viral.
Going viral. Yeah. Very unexpected.
This is mostly on Ansel's side, because Ansel was the one that told me. He's like, Rod, have you not seen this? And I was just like, I see a lot of things. Yeah. But if I see something that is viral, I'm assuming that it's already been viral. Yeah. And I'm just late to the party.
That's normally me too. I see stuff late all the time. My little sister makes fun of me. She's like, you're so old. Yeah. She'll see stuff a week before I see it.
Right. So. Like I'm trying to be the 10th person that shared it or retweeted it.
I don't even know, how do I see it? I think I might have messaged you. You might have shared something on Instagram or something. I don't know how it worked, but I was like, yo, this photo going crazy.
It was. I think I shared just kind of being dumb. I was like, what is going on right now? Because I posted, it was actually it was a photo from Yosemite that was essentially a throwaway. I took this shot, and there were some deer and the mountains, and it was kind of this awkward time of day where the foreground where I was all shaded, and the mountains were super exposed, off in the background. And so I kind of worked with it. And I was like, I don't like it. We go continue our hike. I get back to West Virginia. I'm looking through photos, and I just happened to kind of click on that one, edited it a little bit, loved it, shocked, posted it, and then I guess that was on Instagram, but it was last month, I think.
It was the first day Twitter allowed, they didn't crop your photos.
Crops, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'll throw this one back on Twitter. Yeah. Because it's a very tall photo. Yeah, it was a very tall photo that I'd already posted on Instagram, on Facebook, but Twitter to me had never really been a photo app. So I didn't really post my photography on there, but I posted, I was like, since there's no crop, I don't even know what I said. I literally was on my couch watching a basketball game. I was like, since there's no crop, I guess I could throw this one back out there or something like that. And put my phone down. I think I went and took a shower, came back, I had 1,000 likes.
What?
And I was like, what? Because I think I had 600 followers. That doesn't, I was expecting 10 likes. I go to bed that night, I wake up, I have 10,000 likes. I was like, what? What is going on right now? This isn't right. And ended up, at one point it hit 400,000 likes and 50,000 retweets. I don't know if some of them were bots because now the likes are going, or some people took their likes back, I guess, I don't know. Maybe they felt differently. But now I'm at 397 or something like that. But
397.
It was, and I think that shows you the power of social media though, and how anything can happen at any moment. You just got to put your stuff out there. As a photographer, as a content creator, you just really have to not be afraid to just kind of I mean, it's a very vulnerable position sometimes because you feel like, oh man, this isn't that good. People are going to make fun of me. People aren't going to like this. But you just got to put your content out there. And then, you know, I gained a couple thousand followers from that. I got some sales on my website with my merch or with my prints. And
where can they buy that at? If they want to purchase the
viral
photo,
it's austino'connor.smugmug.com.
Okay.
And I've got a lot of my favorites on there for sale.
We're gonna put that on the screen right there for you.
Well, I was
you
gonna
had
say
164 comments too. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a little wild. That's
everything else is easier, but when you comment, that's intentional.
Well, you also find out in those moments that there are some weirdos online. Like, obviously there are some very nice people that support you and they say nice things, but then there are some people that just like will say anything. Like, they'll respond with like memes or like the fan cams. People will have like some like K-pop band. Like, I'm just like, what are we doing? And they'll get like 1,000 likes. I'm like, okay. Or people will comment back. I had like DMs from people.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, there's a deer in that photo. And then somebody asked me if they could own the photo for free, and I was like, go away. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. People are just, I don't know. But overall, like I said, like it definitely, it sounds dumb because I've never really gotten caught up with like, oh, I want to go viral.
Right.
With other stuff, because it's like, I just don't really care that much. But when it's your own work, like having one of my photos get that type of reaction was definitely like, I mean, I feel like I had a smile on my face for like a week because I was just like, oh man, like this is what I want.
What's special about it is it wasn't like it was something that you shot last week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, hey, I shot this photo. This was a recycled photo.
Right.
Probably, and it was a photo that you didn't even really like at first.
And I think that's the thing is
that's the beauty.
You never know.
The beauty.
That's the thing. People ask me all the time. They're like, what type of advice do you have for people wanting to be a photographer? And I think my biggest advice is like, just practice and know that you might be the worst photographer in the world for a bit. Like, but that's the thing. You could be terrible. One of my mentor, his name's Tyler. He told me once, and it stuck with me. He said, you could be the worst photographer in the world, and then 30 seconds later, take the best photo you ever take in your life. And like, that's the beauty of it. Like, you just have to keep going, and you never know when magic is going to come out of it. And that's kind of what happened. Like, I hated those photos I was taking. The ones before it, even with editing, were terrible. And then I hit that one that I was kind of able to brighten up a little bit, make it look the way I wanted it to. I make that sound like I like photoshopped everything. I did just a little brightness. You know how it goes.
You gotta do
it. You really never know like when magic's gonna hit. And I think those are the moments that kind of keep you going as a content creator when you kind of strike gold like that. And
that was your Kobe Bryant 80 point.
That was my 81. Yeah.
Because they said before the game, and I know Rod knows this more being a Kobe fan. He dropped, or he was practicing. Before the game.
Yeah.
The game he dropped 81. So that was just another day. Yeah. You know, you never know when you're gonna have that that outburst or that, you know, that major night. And that was kind of cool. Cause I know you real humble and you don't post your work as much as, you know, I think you should, you know, and share it with the world. But that was great. So that was in I was looking at the photo. So that was in the valleys. Was that in the valleys? Because you could see the mountain range in the back, like
so it was in Yosemite Valley.
Okay.
And we were just kind of hiking along the valley floor, and I was with my buddy. It was Kevin Ketchy, who was an amazing photographer and cinematographer. He's done work with the Panthers and with the Carolina Hurricanes and with some other with the company in Charlotte that he works for. It was me, him, my buddy Tyler Praley, who's a West Virginia guy, and we just kind of stumbled upon this like scene.
I think I met Tyler.
I think
right?
you did.
At the
I think you did. I think you did. Yeah. It was kind of wild. We were just kind of all standing there, and this deer just kind of looked up at us. Took a couple photos, didn't think a whole lot of it, and then.
So you took that went viral. Then you took another photo at Taft Point.
Taft Point, yeah.
And so
that's
took that in the valleys, and you took this.
Essentially, where that first photo was looking, Taft Point's kind of like just off to the side of, on top of those mountains.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that won an award, right? Off-road winner.
It was, yes.
Was that 2020?
It was 2020 Strava, which is like a big outdoor kind of running, biking, like.
Right.
trail running.
Go ahead, boy. You go ahead.
They
You had a crazy year, man.
it was wild, and I normally like I
won an award with Strava.
Yeah, it
National
was
Shoot at the
champion.
national championship.
Well,
I mean,
you
what's
get-
next?
You get a ring for that.
Nah, I don't think I do. I wasn't technically with the team. Like I'm
He
with the
getting a ring.
university.
Listen to me. Y'all hear me? He getting a ring.
I'm gonna order a fake one just to like I'm gonna get a replica.
Definitely.
But the crazy thing about the Strava thing was the person that judged that contest is my favorite, like my idol photographer, like my all-time favorite photographer, Chris Burkhardt.
I saw that.
And so like that was really like I didn't really care about like a prize or an award, but like just knowing that he had looked at my work and picked it, that was gratifying. And that's another moment, kind of national championship type thing,
Right.
where like I get this email that he picked my photo, and like I just like shocked. And that's just such a gratifying kind of, again, going back to where I started to then, just like how am I here?
Right.
Like how am I in this spot? And I actually got the chance to talk to him a little bit.
Oh, that's dope. That was what I was going to ask next.
I've talked to him a few times. He's a very kind, very open. You know, he'll throw out advice and talk to his fans. Does a lot of workshops. Like very, very great. Just like genuinely good human being. So that was pretty crazy. That was wild. And like I hate talking about myself, but like so I don't want to come off right now like I'm bragging about any of this. Because
Plugged in brags, we good.
Oh no, that's what you're here for.
That's what you're here for.
I appreciate
That's what it is.
But yeah, that was kind of like what we were talking about earlier. The second half of last year, going into this year, it's just been a wild ride. Because with COVID and with the pandemic, you know, there wasn't for a while. It was like, you know, when are we going to be able to do stuff again? When is life? Because you're in the house all day,
right?
Can't really do a lot. Photo-wise, not taking a lot of photos at the beginning of last year. So, you know, at that point, you're just like, man, like, I'm here. Like, I don't really have anything to look forward to.
Yeah.
So then that was very I think that's the most gratifying part about kind of what's been going on for me, is just having something to look forward to like that.
Yeah, I got you.
So, yeah.
So
go ahead.
So during COVID, that's a good point, because I know Rod and I talked about that in the last podcast. Did you hone in on any skills, or is there anything that you doubled down on and got better? I know your work was already, I felt like your work was already incredible. I feel like the world just catching up to Austin O'Connor, right?
I appreciate it.
And
you've been there from the beginning though, I appreciate that.
For sure, but you know, our brand wouldn't be where we are today, you know, without connecting with you, and you helped us launch the brand and got to where we are. But is anything that you did that, you know, you picked up on, any gem that you could share, any substance that you could share with
the
people?
biggest thing that I started doing was I started trying to pay more attention to what other people were doing in their work, which in the past I really focused on like just paying attention to my work. And, you know, I follow photographers. I'd see it in my feed. I started doing workshops from people. I used to be a little too proud for that. I was like, I don't want to pay money to hear this person talk. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to learn on my own. I'm going to YouTube it, blah, blah, blah. Which, again, going back, YouTube is an incredible tool.
Absolutely.
But I started thinking, you know, what if I really do start to just kind of put my pride aside and listen to people? And took workshops on editing. I actually bought a couple of Chris Burkhardt, who I just mentioned, hit a couple of his workshops about travel photography and adventure photography, and just like the process of being able to kind of market yourself as a photographer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I started thinking more long term, like, okay, I want to be here, but I definitely am going to have to take a couple different looks at different things to get there. Like, rather than just like, oh, I'm going to end up there one day. Like, I had to really start more so pinpointing, like, I need to work on this, I need to work on this.
More intentional.
And then once I got those things down, I was like, now that opens the door for other things to kind of work on.
Absolutely.
And so I would just say, like, just paying attention to other stuff. I saw Larry King speak once when he was alive. He came to Marshall, and one of the things he talked about was, as a writer, was like, you want to read other people's stuff. Read the newspaper, read different authors, read things, because otherwise, like, you're stuck in your own bubble of like what you're doing. And I think I was guilty of doing that with photography. Was I was just paying attention to me and not as much other people. And I think collaborating with other people or just learning from like their styles is so beneficial. And I think that's in anything, in writing and photography and cinematography and anything creative.
Brand. I mean, you see that with companies. I mean, that's what they really. I'm in class, and that's funny because that collaboration is the new. That's the new influence. Collaboration and just having that synergy amongst all these different entities, brands, and you just leverage that. So I think that was refreshing to hear you say that, because that's kind of like that's my mindset with the brand. Is like, yo, how not only can who we can collaborate with, but does it align with our brand and our vision for what we're trying to do? So that's cool to hear you have that personal philosophy.
I mean, it's
wow. I'm over here getting straight knowledge poured on me right now. I'm loving it. So, Ansel, you got anything going on right now? Anything? I seen you've been putting a lot of posts about these new shirts, and hey, y'all check me out, man.
I see you got the one on. That's
I got the pouch.
I'm still
on,
jealous because I don't have that black on black. Hey, I won't talk about that right now.
So everything going good with you? I mean, I know y'all got Pride Month stuff going on right now and everything.
Yeah,
so.
Shout out to Pride Month. I think that's very important. I'm glad you brought that up. Especially with everything that's going on in the state of West Virginia.
Right.
I know that's been a hot topic, but obviously that's our vision is empower everybody. So we definitely want to try to uplift everybody, any groups, any persons. But right now, we got. It's funny. I was talking to Pete last night. He was like, yo, did y'all release the tie-dye hats? Is that for Pride Month? I was like, well, it's not for Pride Month, but I mean, it kind of just failed. It worked out. But obviously, you were on set with us for the sportswear line. We're about to drop that. I'm really excited about that. Trey Williams, we got Trey Strong to actually be the model. I mean, he product tested by Trey.
Y'all get ready
Trey
for
Strong.
This. Y'all get ready for that.
I was talking to him, dude. He said, Ansel, man, I worked out for 3 hours the other day. He said the shorts. He said everything held up well. He said it does a really good job wicking sweat. And I mean, he's going through all this. I'm like, 3 hours? Dude, I'd be lucky to get an hour in.
If you're going to have anybody test something, it's Trey. That's the hardest worker I've ever met in my life.
No doubt. Like, he's insane. I mean, he's literally the strongest man in West Virginia.
We went through a whole shoot.
Yeah.
Whole shoot. 6 different exercises.
Yeah.
Just a whole shoot. This man didn't sweat.
He is a machine.
He's a machine.
Ultimately.
He's a machine.
Literally.
Yeah.
And he picked up the 100-pound dumbbell like it was 20.
Just easy.
Just doing. We told him to do snatches just to get the power. He was doing presses.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
I'll tell you, he's one of my best friends. And when we were in college, if I was going somewhere, I never didn't feel safe if I was with Trey. Because people would look at Trey and they're like, yeah, I'm not messing with that guy. I'm not messing with that guy.
I'm not messing with that guy.
Like I said, he's a machine.
Right.
But one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Oh, no doubt.
Very humble.
No doubt.
And just that's good that you got him working on that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, he's the person to do it.
And he, he's one of those guys, you want to see him like he should have a deal. Like, this dude is literally one of the most athletic people. Yeah. He's the most athletic person I know. And I played Division I football.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of people.
My roommate went to the league.
Yeah.
And he's beyond him.
Yeah.
He's beyond Fred. So
it's crazy.
That was great that he was able to come on and help us out with that. We're grateful for him for doing
TJ
that.
For housing.
Absolutely. Evolution,
shout out to Stan for shooting.
Shout out to Evolution. TJ.
Evolution Fitness.
For sure.
Man, absolutely.
Stan Visuals. Collab with Stan.
That right there was a fun project.
Man,
that was a fun project.
Like, dude, and it's so, like, that's what I feel like I love about the brand is because we get to, we always say beneath the surface of West Virginia, you can find substance in people and the scenic beauty. Obviously, when we worked, I didn't even know anything about a Babcock or a Seneca. Like, dude, right. Yeah. I mean, I'm from one of the more urban places in West Virginia, if that's such a thing. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
But I was blown away. Like, when I first saw Babcock, I think,
that grist is wild. When you see it for the first time, especially in the fall.
Oh man,
it's like doesn't even look real. It looks like something out of like a fairy tale or something.
And then the water, man. Just when you out there, it's just I don't know. I can't explain it. And you told me that too. You was like, dude, I can't explain it. You got to go.
It's just like it's magical when you get out the Glade Creek,
really
just running by the mill. It's
it really
amazing.
is.
But like
Ryan, you have to go. Have you been there?
I have not.
Babcock State.
This fall, we got to go.
Seriously,
we're going up there.
Let's do
You would get some insane stuff up there, content,
Let's
like
do
just
it.
the photo, video.
I'm with it.
to like what you were saying, I mean, there's so many just talented people in West Virginia. Not only the locations are beautiful, but there's just like, there's so many people doing just so many creative things, and art is everywhere. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. There's a lot of talented artists, just people like yourself with you know, entrepreneurs and just doing all sorts of good things, trying to kind of lift this state up, which is big.
And that's what it's about. I mean, you know, obviously, I told my story before, but just when I went away to college, I was the only guy on my team from West Virginia. So I got those questions, where's that at? Where's West Virginia? And I'll always tell them, you know, it's a beautiful state. You know, you got to come, don't knock it until you come out there. And just weird questions. But I definitely, and that's how 3 Up 2 Up first started, was me just repping it as college. I know y'all know that story, but.
I remember in high school, like, people throwing it up at like football games and stuff, and then I remember when you called me the first time. We had really never spoken before, because you were a senior when I was a freshman. I was like a nerdy little kid. Ansel over here is like superstar athlete, like cool kid. So we weren't ever in the same circle.
Right.
And then so it was funny, you know, 2016 when you reached out to me with that kind of the pitch of what you were trying to do, and it's just like you had this vision from the jump of like how much beauty is in the state. Right. And it's cool that you were able to tie that in with something that you have had going on for years.
And team effort, man. Like so many different people that's just helped us, you know, just launch. Obviously, we couldn't have launched without you. I didn't even know what a camera was, let alone photography.
Oh man, I hardly did either at that point in time.
Website, like I was like, what? I have to learn these skills, but that was the exciting. Yeah, that was the exciting part. It's just learning, and what you said earlier about listening, and what Rod talked about, taking classes and doing those different things to broaden your horizons. And that's what it was all about. And so that's what we continue to do. And that's really why we even collab on doing what we're doing now.
Just trying to give people. I know Fred Taylor, and they call it free game, but just trying to give people we call it keeping people plugged in. And
that's big.
And that's big. And your story is something that's going to plug so many people in, whether it's a kid from West Virginia or beyond.
Sure.
I admire what you do.
I appreciate it.
I admire what you do because of the fact that, like, man, I know some talented people who work at institutions, and it's an art to be able to tell that story through a camera. Like it's not like you're just out here narrating the story and like you do a voiceover and you can tell that story. Like, you're doing it through a camera, and people absolutely know what's happening. They can see the emotion of what's going on, and that's the beauty, man.
It's definitely, like I said at the beginning, it keeps you on your toes. I think that's what I love, is every week's different, and especially now, you know, there's so much good stuff going on. So it's just, you know, I mean, I'm sure you're the same as me. Like, when you know there's going to be some good content coming up, like, it's just it doesn't feel like work at all.
Don't feel like
work. Just like, man,
it make you nervous.
It
make you nervous.
Oh yeah.
When you know something big about to happen, it make you nervous. But my gosh, man, when you're in that moment and you're shooting it, and you can, and the good thing about when you're shooting good stuff, you don't have time to look at it in that moment.
Exactly.
Like,
but sometimes.
But you know sometimes that, hey, I got
some
that.
Fire.
I got that. And when you get back to that computer and that editing bay, people call it the editing bay. When you get back to that editing bay and you pop that SD card in and you say, I can't believe I got that. I can't believe I got that.
Went viral.
Listen, when the national championship game ended at like midnight, I didn't go to sleep till 5 a.m. just because I edited. I didn't want to not edit, like, as soon as it was over. And I just went back through. I went to the hotel and just edited everything. Man. Just because I had that feeling. I was like, I got to get back and look at this stuff.
I know it's something in there. I know it's something. And I know, like, for me, with shooting sports videos, I'll go to a baseball game. And obviously, the home run, you're going to know what clip it is. You're marking all your clips. But you look through 300 clips for 3, 4.
Right.
Just tell a story.
And so people don't realize. So many throwaways.
So many throwaways. Like people always talk about, like, your the best way to get better at photography, videography, anything is experience, practice. And I feel sometimes when I first started, I felt so bad about just sitting there and saying, I'm gonna go through 300 clips to get 3 or 4. and then have to take those messy 294 and try to be able to tell a whole story around those 3 main clips. And I got my hero shots here, and but it's a beauty. And so being able to sit in a room with a person that has shot a national championship, that for me.
Major plug.
It is major plug.
Well, man,
major plug.
I just appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah.
So when did your passion for photography first start? Like, you know, you took us through your career. But when did, you know, that passion actually first start?
I would say, so like I mentioned, my dad, when he was alive, he was a professional photographer for 30 plus years. So I kind of came up in, you know, being around the studio. I mean, he was more portrait, family, wedding, stuff like that, but he loved landscape, just in his own time. And so when I got my first camera, I had already been shooting a lot, like on my cell phone. I was like, I'll just use I had like an iPhone 4, so you can't really do a lot with that, but it was a good start, just to kind of work on composition. And then, you know, once my dad passed away in 2015, and before he died, he gave me a lot of his equipment, and that kind of sparked. Once I had more equipment, and kind of going through in his last year, he kind of walked through with me different like tips, tricks, rule of thirds, different things to look for composition and gear. And I would say about 2016, end of 2015, going into 2016 was when it kind of like just clicked. I was like, this is, I think, what I eventually want to do. But I just didn't have an idea of how to get to that yet. Because, you know, graduating with an English degree, not having any sort of internships or jobs in photography, it's like, how do you at this point break into that? So I did my time with banking. Like I said, I learned a lot of stuff there, made some really good friends there, and I just kind of waited, practiced, kind of paid my dues, and and learned, and then the opportunity came, and I really haven't looked back at this point. So
that's awesome.
It's been wild, but like I said, having people like you and my parents, my friends, like that makes a world of difference. Just having people that on your days when you don't feel confident, you don't feel like you're doing a good job, that they can be like, nah, like look at how far you've come, or like this, you know, just hyping you up. I mean, that's community. I think makes a big difference with it. So
community is everything. And likewise, I know it was a pivotal point in the brand when in 2018, and I don't know if you know this, but we were just stagnant. It was like, okay, put out a lot of different designs. This is new. We've been around for 2 years, and then you was like, yo, Ansel, I got somebody you gotta meet. And then that's when, you know, I met Austin, right? And from Charlotte. And you connected our brand with Austin. Designer, very talented, man.
Great guy.
That really helped us take off, I think, and kind of launched us as a lifestyle streetwear brand, you know, officially. And that was when we started the God's Country campaign. That was when we did the side-by-side shoots. We went out there and did all that stuff. So, man, I don't know if you knew that, but like that was pivotal. That was crucial.
Austin Stallings, he is just an incredible creator. I mean, he does a lot of photo, video stuff now. And I've seen him, you know, he's getting to travel around the country now and interview athletes, celebrities, all sorts of stuff, doing video, photo, design stuff for that. And he's another guy that, you know, I knew him. I kind of met him around the same time you and I connected. And to see him grow too. That's the coolest thing about it, is a lot of these people that, you know, we all kind of came together at the same time, and just to see everybody grow and kind of and come into their own and learn and just start to get recognition is really cool.
Absolutely. So. Shout out to you, Austin Stallings. We appreciate you, man.
What a episode, man. Austin, we so happy that you could have made it here with us.
Man, I appreciate you having me
in this beautiful setting. It's raining outside, but man, we nice and dry, and we look good. It looked good in here, and so happy to have you on the set, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So,
Plugged in.
You got anything, man?
No, man. Just look out for this episode. Episode 2.
Any last words to the people out there?
Oh man, go Herd. Soccer school.
Absolutely.
Soccer school.
Absolutely.
You know what? Actually, I know I'm messy. So and we talked about 3 of 2 of your substance plus style. So like what? So you gave us substance. So what's your style of photography? Like if it was something you would tell people, what would be your style?
I like that.
I definitely
Your aesthetic.
In terms of, you know, with work, I take about everything. But in my personal work, what I like to do, a lot of people say like adventure photography. I don't. That's kind of I don't really like that phrase. But it's just outdoor exploration.
Okay.
Being able to show the beauty of something, but also be able to tell a story while you're doing it.
I got you.
Because you can kind of paint a picture. Because everybody's going to see a scene differently. I mean, for me, it's just being able to make people feel emotion from what I have. Like make people say, "Oh, I wish I could be there." Oh, I can imagine. Like I can imagine myself there. That's kind of the thing. You want to evoke some form of emotion,
right?
Hopefully positive, out of somebody when they see your work, and that's kind of just what my brand would be, I guess. Just
I got you.
Emotion. Yeah,
that's dope. There you have it.
That's beauty, man. Hey, let me tell y'all something, man. We on our way up. we on our way up. They already up. I'm on my way up. I'm riding the coattail. That's all I'm doing.
You're up too.
You're already up.
You're being too humble right now.
Over here talking about he's on his way up.
Hey, Plugged In the Substance Plus style. Make sure y'all check it out. Spotify. We're gonna be on Apple Podcasts on the next episode as well. But YouTube it. Make sure y'all keep logged in. Go to the sites. We got all Austin's information. Twitter, Instagram, website, Sellify coming soon. All gonna be linked below. Make sure y'all look at 3 Up, 2 Up. Brand's got a lot of things coming out. Cannot believe, I'm so humbled to be in the room with these 2 great men and just love where we're going with this, love where West Virginia is going with this. And so we hope y'all be blessed, stay safe, and stay plugged in. Peace.
We appreciate you. Deuces.
And that's a wrap, baby. Man.
That was a hell of an ending, bro. That was a hell of an outro, bro.
Hey,
that was dope.
Let me tell y'all something. Instagram about to be jumping this week. Let me tell you something.
Hey, you crazy.